So Luca, thanks for taking the time to talk to us.
It's a pleasure for me.
We installed a little bar for you, sort of in the festive mood of the movie. So
I'm like Paul in the movie, I don't drink.
Okay, that's a wise decision, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Is it a wise decision? I don't know.
Depends on the day.
Okay, so what was the beginning of the project? Was it you thought La Piscine is the best movie ever, I want to make a remake, or?
No, like after I Am Love and the movie went around the world and got raised attention on me, many people came to me and said, do you want to do this movie, do you want to do that movie? Many movies that you have seen in the past years, they've been offered to me and I said no thank you, many times. And among those proposals came the proposal of Studio Canal to remake a movie that they owned the remake rights of, which is La Piscine. And so that was when I thought again of a movie that I saw when I was 16, that I haven't seen it again at the time and I haven't seen it afterwards. And I realized that the movie itself for me was something that was not part of my imagery. But the story, not the story, because that's not about the story, but the themes in the movie. The idea that people are confronted with the sense of belonging to the past, nostalgia of the past, desire. All these were something that drew me. Because also, Studio Canal was very generous in saying to me, we are really eager to let you be completely mastering your work. You do what you feel you have to do. We are not asking you to execute something, but we give you this input, La Piscine, and then you go with that wherever you want. And I said, I want electricity, I want rock and roll, I want Africa, I want Pantelleria, I want political, and I want a performance. And they said, okay. I wanted more money and they gave me a little bit less. That was the only compromise. But at the end of the day, we went there and we did it.
And why Pantelleria? Why the island where the movie is set?
Well, I think because Pantelleria had an urgency. I did not want to make a movie about people lounging on the sun. I wanted a movie about people restlessly lounging on the sun, being pushed to some degree of energy that was manic. And Pantelleria, with this fierce wind, with this volcanic energy, with this dust and with this heat, was in a way a place that was perfectly capable of putting the characters not only to distract the characters from their own neuroses and to push them to confront with the other, which they eventually have to see and come to terms. And what do they do with that? And that's what is the movie about.
Yeah. And was the island something that you knew about? Because there's a lot of tradition in there, with the ricotta and then the...
I knew the island because I've been there when I was a kid. I was 17, 16, and I had a summer there, like 3 weeks, 2 weeks. And it came to me like this when they came to me with La Piscine. I said, yes, but no Saint-Tropez, no houses in Saint-Tropez, like something fierce.
And what about the casting? What made you think of these four?
Aren't they the best possible the best possible embodiment of those characters? Aren't you completely conquered by the sophistication, art, beauty, and complication and toughness of their performances? I am, and that's why.
Me too, yeah. But it's interesting in a way that there's a certain persona. All of the I'm talking about Rafe, Matthias, but also Dakota, for instance. They have a certain persona, and in a way, I think you sort of turned it upside down in the movie.
Thank you. What can I do? Thank you. I think it's about. A director is a psychoanalyst, a director is a priest, a director is a manipulator, a director is a lover. Through the art of psychology, confession, manipulation, and love, you can patiently mold with the great gift that these performers have and their knowledge and their empathy. You can give life to someone that doesn't exist in life, as if it does. That for me is the most beautiful thing that can come off of my work, that makes me happy if I see glimpses of what I described happening on my screen.
Mm.
And in this case, I think I saw more than glimpses, but not because of me, but because of them.
And what was it about Matthias that made you think of him before?
Well, I think Matthias was the first idea I had for Paul, and it was the first pieces of the construction that went on board. Well, Matthias, he has this duality to him. On one hand, he has this very powerful physicality and this very virile physicality, but on the other hand, there is a great deal of almost innocence. He's tender and fragile, not as a person. I'm talking about the actor and about the possibilities that he gives you to of an insight inside these characters that makes them interesting because they are not one-dimensional. It's extraordinary when you have a physicality that is contradicted by a morality, you know, but in the same time is endorsed by it.
Yeah.
And Paul, what Harry describes as a bear made for a hibernation, for me, what Matthias does is stunning because he is calmly exploding, and that's great.
Yep. But it's interesting you talk about physicality, but in a way you succeeded in sort of letting the audience forget that physicality, which is one of the first times I actually see that happen.
But still, the camera goes on his torso so much.
Mm-hmm. But
Because
it's more
camera loves Matthias.
Yeah. But it's more of a sensual thing than a macho thing in your movie, I think.
I don't think Matthias is macho. I think that those who describe him as macho or portray him as macho are wrong. I think Matthias is much more than that. Actually, much, much, much more.
One of the things that I really loved about the movie is all the little details that you put in there. They go throughout. For instance, the political level. There's the hint of the refugees.
I don't think it's a hint. I think it's a ghost. It's another. It's the other. It's the great other in the Lacanian sense, probably.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to face it. And what is the ethical answer you give to your question when you question the presence of the other? What is Marianne Lane doing with that? What is Paul Desmet doing with that? What are we doing with that? That's what is the movie about.
And how do you link? There's I think it's sort of a generational thing where it's Harry's young friend. She's never seen vinyl before, for instance, the record. She starts asking these questions.
Well, today I asked the young gentleman who was interviewing me about his method of interviewing, and I wanted to share with him the notion that Truman Capote did not record anything. He made his mind like a recorder, and then he was transcribing in the evenings, and he didn't know who Truman Capote was. What do you do? What do you do?
Explain it to him.
I did. So Penelope doesn't know the vinyls. What do you do? What do you do? What can we do? We are living in Wall-E world. Do you remember Wall-E?
Yeah.
It's a wasteland.
Another interesting line is one that Harry says is, it's up to the women now.
Mm-hmm.
Is that something that you
endorse? Significantly, yes. But because I'm interested in fragility, I like to see the men a lot. Even though my next movie is going to be about motherhood.
Mm-hmm. Talking about your next movie, Suspiria.
Yeah, that's it.
Another remake?
Well, it depends if you see A Big Splash as a remake.
Mm-hmm.
It depends on the eyes of the beholder.
Yeah.
Would you say that Robert Carson doing a new version of Hamlet is doing another remake of Hamlet on theater?
Mhm.
Would you say that Michelotto, the great stage opera director who does a lot in north of Europe, doing Tosca, is doing another remake? Or would you say that's the point of view that counts?
It's a good point.
All the stories have been told. We're not Sherazade anymore. We can listen to the Sherazade that was and make our own idea of Sherazade.
And what is it about Suspiria that makes you want to make?
Well, I don't want to get into Suspiria because it's still in the making and I want to preserve my breath for it in the future. I can tell you it's going to be a movie about motherhood.
Okay. Last question. A bigger splash is also it also refers to painting. Was the actual painting also an inspiration for the movie for you? Or?
Sure. Both the formal aspect of it, the conceptual aspect of it, the palette of color of it. Yeah, it's a fantastic painting. It pokes you with questions. Who is in the house? Who is in the water? Why is jumping into the water? What's going to happen afterwards? It's like a Patricia Highsmith meets Alfred Hitchcock meets a gay sauna movie thing, you know?
Yeah.
I like to infiltrate films with a very strong homosexual undercurrent because it's in a way like subconscious, you know, we are all female and male. And in that great painting from that great artist, there was that kind of brooding sexuality that doesn't define itself the way we are all now codified. You know, I'm fiercely against codifications. I'm more like an infiltration.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.